Hello and welcome back to Raising the Paws. If you haven't already watched our marriage series here on the channel, please go back and watch the other videos because today is day 5 and I've tried to share some tips and tricks that will kind of help grow your marriage even stronger. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please stick around. I hope to give you some inspiration. Well, hello, my name is PJ. I'm a mom and wife. I have been married for 12 years and I'm just wanting to share some things that maybe will help in your marriage, just tips in womanhood and motherhood. I love sharing all things motherhood and marriage here on the channel, as well as all things about home. Home life is my favorite. I love all things home because home is my favorite place, and home may not always be that building, it may just be amongst the people that you love and call family. I know that relationships can be tricky and can get messy, and that's why the attack was first on family. Satan came after the family for the first sin and the fall of man. He was coming after God's family. You must first know that your marriage is going to be attacked. It's just a given. And if you think that marriage is going to fix all of your problems, let me tell you, you're just getting started. That's okay. You can still be an overcomer. You can still grow despite all of the flaws. And that's my hope. That's my goal in sharing these videos, is to help just give you some tips to maybe help. These may not even help. I hope that they do, but there may be things in your life and your walk that may require counseling and extra things outside of just these little tips that I'm sharing. Days 1, 2, 3, and 4 are already up on the channel. Go back and watch those. Today is day 5. I'm going to keep going. I want to keep this short and sweet because nap time's coming to an end. But day 5 is all about being trustworthy. When you think about being trustworthy, I mean, you might say, I'm honest with my spouse, or he knows that I'm honest. He knows that he can trust me. Or maybe you're on the other end that says, why don't you trust me? I still think about Proverbs 31 here and the fact that the husband, he trusts in her. He knows that she's not going to bring him any spoil. She's not going to disgrace him, dishonor him. He knows that he can trust her. Trust in general, that takes a lot in any relationship, friendship. You must first learn to be loyal and trustworthy in order to remain connected and in order for your relationship to stay strong. There can be many factors that can break trust in a marriage. And I'm not going to go into all of the ways that trust can be broken in marriage, but I just want to talk about ways that most women in this modern day culture are kind of borderline ruining trust in their marriage. Have you ever seen the different people or the different women who share on social media how they are hiding Amazon boxes or purchases from their spouse? Yes, financial infidelity is a way to break trust in a marriage. So if you both aren't financially on the same page, and one is spending more money, or you are spending and your spouse doesn't know about it, that can break trust. You both want to be on the same page in order to grow and be closer. My husband, thankfully, trusts me. I can make purchases without having to always run them by him. Like I said, we've been married for 12 years. So that trust was built up over time. We didn't first get married and him automatically just trust that I'm always going to make financial decisions well. Like I said, we got married very young, and I was very independent even as a young adult. So I was taught to manage money from a very young age. My husband actually learned that about me when we got married, because there's going to be things in marriage that you're going to learn about one another, how they spend money, how they save money, how they are as far as bills and what their priorities are. Well, my priority over time has become that I'm a stay-at-home mom. So if you don't know, I was a teacher prior to becoming a full-time stay-at-home mom. Teaching, I love teaching. I love children. And so I taught many different levels and different schools, and I've done daycare settings, and I've done public school settings, and I've also been a homeschool mom. And When I decided to make that step for me to become a full-time stay-at-home mom, I felt the weight of the finances. I quickly realized that while part of me felt sad that I was not bringing in a monetary value, I wasn't bringing anything money-wise to the table, I felt that pull of, I'm only going to bring him down, or I'm going to hold him back. And my goal was that everything my husband works for, I'm going to make for sure that I can make it stretch and go as far as it can in order for his money and his time to be spent wisely. For every bit of time he was away from us, I wanted it to count. I wanted it to be worthwhile. I found out very early I didn't want to hide purchases from him, and I don't have any purchases or Amazon boxes that I'm having to hide from him because he automatically knows. I'm actually the partner that is more geared towards saving and more frugally minded. I don't know, I've just always been that way. He can trust that I'm not going to be doing any crazy spending. That's how I can save our family money. I'm not using shopping as a hobby. I'm not saying these things are like marriage breakers or are just like going to automatically cause a divorce. I'm saying that over time, we want to be trustworthy to our spouses. I'm not saying you're bad or wrong or, whatever. You have to find what works. I'm just saying in my marriage, I want to be as trustworthy with my husband as possible. I go back to the woman who does not want to bring her husband spoil. I want my husband to know that he can trust me and he can trust my decisions, and over time he has learned to do that. And it's a very good and comfortable feeling to know that you're bringing one another value. So like my husband and I will you can set a purchase limit. So for how much money you plan to spend, if it's over a certain dollar amount, you can consult with one another. Trust is such a funny thing in any relationship. I think we all want to be deemed as trustworthy. But then there can also be little sins that are hidden that can break our characters over time. My prayer within our house is that every sin will be brought to light, even in my children, that all things that they're dealing with in their heart and in life, it'll be brought to light so that we can outwardly deal with them and we can bring it to the Lord ultimately, because we are to lay down all things at His feet in order to grow in any way, in character and in marriage. I think that when you let your spouse know that, hey, I want to be someone that you can trust and that you can rest in knowing that I have your back, I think that's what we all want in marriage. And as a child of God, I think we want to go to our Heavenly Father and say, you can trust me. I want to be somebody you can trust, but you know my character and you know my flaws, and I want to bring them to you because only He can forgive you and forgive those sins, and that will help us. Was it King David said to search my heart, O Lord, create in me a clean heart? In case you haven't already, on my community tab, I have shared a poll for you to answer what series you want to see next. And so far, Ways to Save Money as a Large Family is winning. So I will share more about how I am able to be frugally minded and to save money as a large family. We are a family of 8, so things can add up very quickly. I hope that you're enjoying this marriage series. Here, like I said before, I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing what has helped me and what has helped grow my husband and I closer. As I always say, praying over your spouse is the number one thing that will help grow praying over your marriage. If I can be honest, it's a little bit scary to rely on somebody. Really, we have to go back to being dependent upon the Lord because He knows what's best for all of us. I'm very thankful that I have that here on earth, that I do share that with my husband. He is my other half. I don't know how else to say it. It's been a beautiful experience, and I just want to do everything I can to be a blessing to him and be a blessing to the Lord. I want to honor God in everything that I do, and I want to raise up my children to do the same, and also to value marriage, to value parenthood, to value children, just like the Bible said, to be fruitful and multiply. And while I didn't plan or set out to have 6, I'm very thankful for the Lord blessing me, blessing my womb to be able to carry so many physically. And I'm just so grateful. Share in the comments below what you plan to do to be more trustworthy with your spouse. What's something that you already do to be trustworthy? Can your spouse depend on you? Can they trust you? I am praying for you in your journey, and let's do everything we can not to bring spoil to our marriages, but to honor the Lord in all things. I can't wait for you to come back so that we can chat about tip number 6 in growing our marriage even stronger. I'll see you next time.